Imagine a world where everyone spoke the same language, no translation, no misunderstanding, no different nations. Humanity was united. But then something happened that changed the course of history forever. Languages suddenly multiplied. Nations were scattered across the earth. And a massive tower became a symbol of human pride. This is the mysterious story of the Tower of Babel. But what really happened? And why did God confuse the languages of humanity? Today, we will uncover the meaning, the history, and the powerful lessons behind one of the most fascinating stories in the Bible. Part 1. The world after the flood. To understand the Tower of Babel, we must go back to the time after the great flood of Noah. After the flood waters receded, Noah and his family began repopulating the earth. The Bible tells us that all nations descended from the three sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. At this time, the world was small. Humanity was united. Everyone spoke one language. Genesis 11:1. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. This meant people could communicate perfectly. Ideas spread quickly. Communities grew rapidly. But instead of spreading across the earth as God had commanded, humanity decided to stay together. Part 2. The City of Babel. The Bible tells us that people traveled east and settled in a land called Shinar. Genesis 11:2. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. The land of Shinar is believed to be in ancient Mesopotamia, near modern-day Iraq. This region later became home to powerful civilizations, such as Babylon. The people decided to build something incredible, not just a city, but a tower that would reach the heavens. Genesis 11:3-4. They said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used brick instead of stone, and tar for mortar. Then they made a bold declaration, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves." These words reveal something important. Their goal was not to worship God. Their goal was to glorify themselves. Part 3. The real problem. At first glance, building a city might not seem wrong. But there were two major problems with what humanity was doing. Pride. The people wanted to make a name for themselves. Instead of honoring God, they wanted their own greatness to be remembered. This is one of the oldest sins in human history, pride. Pride was the same sin that led to the fall of Satan. It was also the sin that caused Adam and Eve to disobey God, disobedience. After the flood, God gave humanity a clear command. Genesis 9:1. Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. God wanted humanity to spread across the earth. But the people at Babel were doing the opposite. They wanted to stay together and build a powerful centralized civilization. Their tower became a symbol of rebellion against God's command. Part 4. What was the tower? Many scholars believe the Tower of Babel was likely a ziggurat. A ziggurat was a massive step temple tower, common in ancient Mesopotamia. These structures were designed to connect heaven and earth. People believed the gods could descend to the temple from the sky. In other words, the tower was not just an architectural project, it was also a spiritual statement. Humanity was trying to reach heaven on its own terms. Instead of seeking God, they were trying to reach God through human power and achievement. Part 5. God sees the tower. As humanity continued building the tower, the Bible describes a powerful moment. Genesis 11:5. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. This verse carries a subtle irony. The people believed their tower was reaching heaven, but from God's perspective, He still had to come down just to see it. No human achievement can truly reach the level of God. Part 6. The confusion of languages. God then said something very important. Genesis 11:6. If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan will be impossible for them. God understood the power of human unity. If humanity united in rebellion, their influence could spread rapidly. So God took action. Genesis 11:7. Come, "Let us go down and confuse their language, so they will not understand each other." Suddenly, communication collapsed. Workers could no longer understand instructions. Builders could not coordinate their work. Friends could not understand one another. Chaos spread across the construction site. Without communication, the tower project came to a sudden halt. Part 7. The Birth of Nations. After the confusion of languages, people began to separate into different groups. Each group spoke a different language. Eventually, these groups migrated to different parts of the world. This is how the Bible explains the origin of different nations and languages. Genesis 11:08. So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth. And they stopped building the city. The city was called Babel. Genesis 11:9. That is why it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. The word Babel is related to a Hebrew word meaning confusion. Part 8. The deeper meaning of Babel. The Tower of Babel reveals something profound about the human heart. Throughout history, humanity has often tried to replace God, achieve greatness without Him, build power through pride. Babel represents humanity's attempt to reach heaven without God. But the Bible teaches that heaven cannot be reached through human effort. Salvation comes only through God's grace. Part 9. The reversal at Pentecost. Interestingly, the Bible later shows a powerful reversal of Babel. In the New Testament, during the day of Pentecost, something extraordinary happened. Acts 2:4-6, the Holy Spirit filled the disciples, and they began speaking in many languages. But instead of causing confusion, people from different nations suddenly understood the message of the gospel. Where Babel divided humanity, the gospel began uniting humanity again through Christ. Conclusion. The Tower of Babel is more than just an ancient story about a building. It is a story about human pride, human rebellion, and God's power over the nations. It reminds us that no matter how advanced human civilization becomes, true unity and salvation can only come through God.